Okay, this is your 12.2 video notes. You should have just finished copying the front page of your notes from the picture on Canvas, so let's go ahead and talk through this. Okay, so some of this should already be familiar to you from other classes. So a prism is a polyhedron with two congruent faces, so those two congruent faces are going to be your bases. So base, 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 base. And those bases are in parallel planes. So we name a prism by the shape of its base. So for example, these two, those bases are both pentagons. So we would call these both a pentagonal prism. This would be a rectangular prism. Now, there is going to be a little bit of drawing pictures that comes up in this unit. Don't freak out. You don't have to be an artist, but you are going to have to do a little bit of drawing. So let's draw a triangular prism right here. So just draw a triangle. And then there's a side. There's a side. I would dash your back side, dash to connect there, dash there, connect it there. So that's a triangular prism. It's not perfect, but that is a triangular prism. Okay, so like I said, named for the bases. That's the base, that's the base. Now, the other parts of your prism, you have what we call lateral faces. Those are the sides. So I'm going to shade that in this example. That's this side, or this side, or this side, or those two back sides. It's any side that's not the base. Then your lateral edges is going to be that edge there, that edge there, that edge, the back edge. Those are your lateral edges. So your lateral area is the area of all 5 of those sides. So let's think about what that would be, the sum of all of those sides. Now if we happen to know the length of that lateral edge, we could call that h, our height. Then the sum of the area of all of that, think about the net. Think about the net. If we were to lay this out, that would just be this whole side, the perimeter of the base, times that height. We're going to come back to this, just kind of introducing this idea. Shouldn't be too unfamiliar, but your lateral area is equal to the perimeter of your base times your height. Okay. So we've got several types of prisms. We have a right prism, which we're going to talk most about right prisms today. That's where the lateral edge is perpendicular to the base, and there's also oblique prisms where it's not perpendicular. So surface area, chapter 12 is all about surface area and then some volume. So surface area is the sum of the area of all the faces. So that means it's the lateral area plus the area of the bases, which means we could write it as surface area, we'll use S, equals, it's going to be your lateral area, which again we said was the perimeter of the base times the height. And then you would add the bases, and there's 2 bases, so that would be 2 times the base. So let's think about this with a net. You're used to using nets when thinking about three-dimensional figures. So here, if we were to talk about this, the perimeter of the base would actually be, when laid out on the net, would be that length there. And then the height would be that side. So your perimeter times height would give you this entire long rectangular part, which is your lateral area. And then there's a base, so add the two bases. And actually the same thing's going to happen with cylinders. So again, cylinders, only thing is the base is a circle, but everything else is the same idea. And again, our surface area is going to be the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 of the bases. Now I just want you to be familiar with what a cross section is. This is going to come up bigger later in our unit, but it's just, we've got the solid intersecting a plane. So here we would say the cross section is a rectangle. Here we'd say the cross section is a circle.